Welcome back to Assembly Update. You can find me on social media. On Facebook, you can follow me under Angelo Santabarbara. Twitter, find me on ASM Santabarbara. And on Instagram, under Assemblyman Santabarbara. We have district offices in the city of Amsterdam and the city of Schenectady. In Amsterdam, 1170 Riverfront Center, Amsterdam, New York, 12010. I can be reached by phone there at 518-843-0227. In the city of Schenectady, 433 State Street, Schenectady, New York, 12305. I can be reached by phone there at 518-382-2941. And as always, on email at santabarbara@assembly.state.ny.us. Welcome back to the show. Our next guests, I have two guests joining us for the second half, are going to talk about an organization that's doing wonderful things for children in our community. It's called Things of My Very Own, and my guests include Rain Bonci, who is here. She is the CEO and founder, and Frank Graniero. Did I say that correctly? Frank Graniero.
Yes.
He is the board president of the organization, and I had a chance to come to your new location in the Stockade in Schenectady, and we had a wonderful ribbon cutting, and we did all sorts of great things to celebrate that new location. But there's a story behind this organization, and it's a story that we're going to have you tell. So, Rain, if you would just tell us a little bit about how this started and what it means to you.
When I was 14, I was placed in foster care, and it was there I met my foster sister, Holly. She was also 14 and overweight, coming in wearing clothing that would have fit a small 9-year-old. One day I saw her change for bed, and I noticed these reddish purplish welts on her skin from where her clothing had literally injured her. So I made a silent promise to her that when I grew up, I would do something to help children like her and I.
And we heard the story at the ribbon cutting as well, and
yes.
and how it turned into what it is today, and now it's wonderful to see that you're growing, you're serving more people, and
yes.
You are moving into serving more of the community. Frank, you're the board president. Were you there right from the very beginning? How did you come to be involved with things in that area?
Not from the very beginning. I mean, Rain started out of our basement, so that took some more doing, and she became more well known, and she grew a little bit. And I got to know her through we did a fundraiser, and I met her, and we spoke. I met her the first time. We spoke briefly, and then we started emailing back and forth and talking more. And I wanted to learn more about the organization. Which it's an amazing organization. I thought she was only handling 50 people, 50 children in the area. And then I come to find out she's handling thousands. She needed help with the board. She asked if I could possibly help in any way. So I said, sure, I can, whatever I can do. The more you know about the organization, the more you really get involved with it, because it's doing such a wonderful job for the children in this area.
And let's talk a little bit about, so you're, from the numbers I have, you're serving almost 7,000 individuals. That's a big number.
Last year in 2014, we serviced 6,712 individuals.
So that's a lot of children that you're making a difference for.
Yes.
And you're in a new location. This organization has been called the Red Cross for Children in Crisis, and
yes.
I think I mentioned this when I was at your ribbon cutting. What does that mean? Tell us some of the things that you're able to do to really make a difference in the lives of children. Some of the things that other organizations you're sort of filling in the gaps.
Right, we're a gap service provider, so we're referral based. So when an agency such as a hospital, Child Protective Services, police department, fire departments recognize a child in need, they can make a referral, and within 4 hours of contact, if it's an emergency situation, we will provide and, if necessary, deliver up to 7 days worth of everything a child needs. So a good example of what we're up against is that oftentimes there's a non-abusive parent that's taking their children out of an abusive situation, and they have to be able to prove to Child Protective Services that they have the means to support these children, otherwise they will either be put into foster care. Knowing this, non-abusive parents either lose custody of their children temporarily or end up choosing to go back to their abusers, that they don't lose custody of their children. So we're stopping that. We're helping. We're basically we're bridging the gap between what social services is able to provide and what children need.
And
it's a very large gap.
And yes, and also some other stats that are worth mentioning. 12 counties is the service area.
Yes.
In the capital region, and you're making such a difference that you've also received a few recognitions, some from Lifetime Achievement Award from the President.
Yes.
So that's quite an achievement, and that speaks to the work that you're doing as well.
Absolutely.
So, and obviously we talked about the thousands of children. Where do you see the needs? I know we're going to talk about some specific needs, but where do you see the needs? Do you see the need growing, and do you see yourself serving more counties?
Oh, absolutely. We moved from renting a 2,000 square foot building to owning a 19,800 square foot building at 249 Green Street in the Stockade District of Schenectady. Once we moved into the building, we experienced a 400% increase in the clients being referred. So that we expected growth, but not at that rate. So there definitely are a lot of needs right now. I'm sure you heard that we went through a bit of an emergency of our own. We had some flooding at the center in January. That cut into our budget tremendously. So while we would normally solicit for donations to help children, in order to serve them, we had to ask the public for help with money to gain the repairs. So we're falling quite a bit behind in fundraising for the aid that we need. Currently, we're 100% out of mattresses, which is a requirement.
I see that, yes. So people watching, can they help? How can people help?
Absolutely, they can donate at www.tomvo.org. Our minimum mattress order is 130 mattresses, which costs us $7,000. They can also volunteer. We especially need volunteers on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we are in desperate need of clothing sizes, children's clothing sizes 8 through 16. And
is that, so the best way to get the information is the website? You also have a Facebook, I know.
Yes.
That I'm on, so
yes.
I see all the information. So 19,800 square feet.
Yes.
Is that enough space, or do you see yourself growing out of this space? I know Frank was there at the ribbon cutting that we celebrated. You know, how much of it, you know, as the board president, do you see, you know, the differences? Changing location, do you see?
Oh, absolutely. This will definitely take us into the future. We can do a lot with the size that we have right now. It helps us in many ways as far as putting materials in that we need and clothing and stuff. We can store it a lot more easily than we could in the 1,900 square foot building. It's and I always say to this, when we had to move, you ever know, if you remember the clown cars where they just keep coming out. So when we took the stuff out of that building, I was saying to myself, where did all this stuff come out of? It's only 1,900 square feet, and it looks like it came out of a 20,000 square foot, building. It's like, it was amazing, all the stuff that came out. But this will definitely take us into the future. And one thing about our organization that's very unique is that when people come into our building, it's not like walking into a cold, sterile atmosphere. We try to maintain a family-orientated, warm, welcoming place for them to come to. I mean, we have coffee set up, we have some TV set up, we have some food that they like to partake and have something to eat while they're there. I mean, we treat them like family. So, and they feel, they feel like when they come to us, because many of them have told us when they, on the way out, when they were leaving, that they've never been in a place that they were treated so nicely and warm and friendly, and wasn't like walking into a sterile, cold atmosphere, which a lot of these organizations have. So we're different in that respect, and we try to maintain that.
And certainly, the support of the community is there, because when we cut the ribbon for your new location, all parts of the community were there.
Right.
Officials, businesses, they were all present. And there's the picture there of us cutting. But that's just a small snapshot. There was a lot more people there. We even got to, and you say it's a friendly environment, the ball pit.
Right.
That
Yes, we're very
Ray and I
friendly
got to try out. But the kids were having. That's part of it. That's part of the experience of making the kids feel comfortable.
It's about the kids, yes.
Letting the kids be kids, and letting them feel like this is their home.
Right, and I think it was great for, you were in there, Ray Legier was in there, and it was great because for these children, they haven't been exposed to anything too much outside their home. So it helps to have elected officials or bankers and other respected members of the community come in and show their human side. And so we did get quite a bit of feedback from you being there.
It was wonderful, and it was. I've been to many ribbon cuttings. This was very unique, and it was great to see the kids were part of it. They were involved with it. And it shows. It speaks to the work that you're doing.
Yeah, well, we've had help. I mean, we need a lot more help, but the Wright Family Foundation helped us tremendously.
Oh, they've been wonderful to us. The Wright family is not only our largest funder, but they're helping us to get ahead. We're working together on our strategic plans and our budgets and everything else we need to get going. We actually had a meeting with them and SI Group this morning.
Yes, SI Group.
The Edward D. Camerata Foundation and Melcar Electric. Melcar Electric is wonderful. They come and they do our electric work on a volunteer basis, and every time a client comes in, they have to leave the room, so they're up and down the ladder all day.
That's wonderful to hear that you have such support from the community. And if people watching want to donate or volunteer time or help or maybe do something with the mattresses,
absolutely,
they can get that information on your website. We'll give that out again, www.tomvo.org.
Yes.
Or on Facebook. It's easy to get contact information off of there too, and find out what's going on as well.
Absolutely.
I also have to mention now the last photo. I have to bring this up. So, kids got a chance to paint a cow.
They did. We had our first sensory exploration adventure for the season, and we had Pandora the painted cow there. So children ages 2 through, I believe it was 2 through 10 or 2 through 10 got to come and paint a live cow, and it was wonderful for those not only with sensory issues but trust issues. Many of them have never seen a live cow, but Pandora has been raised by a wonderful woman named Stephanie since she was four months old, so she's somewhat of a therapy cow. And it was amazing to see these children interact with this live animal and paint her with washable, non-toxic paint. And here's this cow just wanting to snuggle these children. But it was also very impressive for the neighbors in the Stockade district who were walking by seeing a painted cow in our parking lot.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it. Maybe next time around.
Yes. It was.
Yeah, it's a unique thing. I haven't heard of painting a cow.
It was a very moving experience.
Yeah, I like that. Unique experience, but a unique organization.
Yes.
I want to thank you both for being on the show. I want to thank you for the work you're doing in our communities, and I hope to visit you again very, very soon.
Sounds great.
Thank you for
We'd
being
love to
here.
have you back.
And come back and visit us here on Assembly Update again. We'll talk about great organizations like Things of My Very Own happening right in your community. Thank you for joining us.